Hey Brick Bloggeteers, Will here, and today we're looking at set 72423, Shrek, Donkey, and Puss in Boots. Now this retails for $129.99, and well, I never thought we'd get a Shrek set. I mean, mostly because it's been out for years and years and years now, so it kind of surprised me when they're like, oh, and by the way, here's a Shrek set. Okay. Let's take a look. So we have a very exquisite model. They really capture the characterization of Donkey, Shrek, and even Puss in Boots. This is now the second time I've seen a artistic set that has really incorporated the minifigure as part of the proper scale of the set. Now that's not to say we haven't had art sets that haven't had minifigures, like there's a Disney of Magic, but those were like, here's a giant Mickey and a whole bunch of little vignettes. This is actually, Puss in Boots is the right scale for this model. The other set I'm thinking of is the New York Big Apple, where they used the little Statue of Liberty in scale with all the buildings. Most of the time when you have an art set and minifigures, it's like, oh, here's art and here's little minifigures that can hide in it, but they're not really to scale with anything. So that's always nice, and minifigure fans will be happy to get something. Now this is a very dense, very heavy model. I think there was the pig from Moana that was fairly thick in terms of how dense the model was, but even it had more gaps than Shrek did. Shrek is just solid throughout, and that makes him rather precarious in terms of making sure he stays balanced. So they anchor him with both feet with ball joints, and his hand that is on the back of Donkey, that's mounted to Donkey. Donkey is then mounted with his front hooves onto the rock that he's actually built into the rock. The rock is then built into the base, which is all sideways built to further just make sure Shrek stays upright. As for positioning, you do have the ability to turn Donkey's head. Unfortunately, they didn't give him a clicking mechanism, because there was the joke in the movies where he had, my neck is clicking, Shrek, and then his ears do move around, his mouth can open and close, and his tail can be repositioned. And on the back you actually get to see the blue flower with red thorns that they were looking for, which I believe was the cure for Fiona. Some sunflowers in the back, some nice little water decorations on the front here, a sign with Beware of Ogre. And in fact, everything that you see that is printed, whether it's Donkey's eyes, Shrek's face, the sign, everything is printed. So there's no stickers at all in the model. As for Shrek himself, he is very limited in terms of his mobility. His neck is on a ball joint, but because he essentially has no real neck, all of this is built up around his head, very much limiting what he can actually move. Now his ears can be moved around, so if you want a little bit of extra expression, you got that in. As for his arm, this one is the one that can move. The other one is tied into securing his whole structure. So this one is the only one you can move. Then this is locked in at a 90 degrees. There's no joint here, just like the other elbow, that's also locked in. As for how high it can go about here. Beyond that, you're gonna start knocking off elements. So be aware that even that can be a little bit tricky because of his extra muscles. His wrists do turn, and all his fingers are independently moving, so he can get a little bit of action, but that's going to be the majority of what you can do in terms of positioning. Now they did do an excellent job at sculpting him, including his backside, so let's get a look at that. This was pretty interesting. In order for them to, well, essentially give him a butt, they actually made his lower pelvis area a separate element, and then they angled 2 ball joint connectors at a strange angle in order to off-center how the backside sticks out. And it's not till you get to his torso that clips back into the ball joints, and then you have slopes moving down that moves him back upright. So he doesn't actually have movement in his waist, forward and back. This is just to give him an extra set of dimension, which makes it a very nice piece to put into the center of a room, because no matter which angle you look at, well, it looks like Shrek, and it looks like the right type of design, where there are so many art pieces that you'll put somewhere, but you have to put it against the wall because it doesn't look great from the backside. In terms of build, this was a fantastic build. You do get your parts worth, even though it looks very small and condensed, for $130. But I do recommend that if you like Shrek, this is not a bad set and well worth the price. So this is set 72423, Shrek, Donkey, and Puss in Boots.